Hello, my name is Jason with WebFusion 5. This presentation will be a brief introduction into WebOS application development. The WebOS is Palm's new mobile operating system, currently available on the Palm Pre. The WebOS allows running multiple apps at once. You can think of applications as cards in a deck of cards, with each card being an application. WebOS applications are built using common web standards such as JavaScript, HTML, and cascading style sheets. You can also run older Palm applications in classic mode. The WebOS uses an AJAX architecture to send and receive data. On the left we have a classic web application model. This is the type of model that your average web browser uses when it requests a web page. It is a request-response model. The AJAX model on the right hand is what the WebOS uses for requesting data. The AJAX model is different. AJAX allows you to use asynchronous request calls for data. In order to develop for the Mojo SDK, you will need a few freely available tools and a little bit of knowledge. The first tool that you'll need is the Mojo SDK itself, which includes code examples, an emulator, and command line tools. The next thing you will need is either a text editor or an IDE, such as Komodo or Eclipse. And you'll also need a command line, which comes with every major operating system. And lastly, you will need a knowledge of JavaScript, HTML5, and cascading style sheets. At the bottom of this slide, I have included a URL that you can go to grab a free set of tools for Komodo. These tools make it easy for you to package and install your application. Now let's view an example WebOS application. I've loaded up the emulator here. This is Jobber, our job search application that we built for WebOS. Every WebOS application is made up of scenes. You can think of a scene as like a web page in a website. On this particular scene, we have two different areas. One is for the favorite jobs, and one is for recent searches. As I go through this application, you'll see what those areas are for. Now I'll click on the search button and go to our next scene. In this scene, you'll see a bunch of different controls. You'll see a button, text field, a bunch of different controls. The first control is a button. In the handler for this button, what I have done is I have set it up to control the drawer. This area out here that contains the search field and the optional controls is called a drawer. I can open and close the drawer. The next control is a text field. So I'll enter clerical. The next control is an integer picker. This allows me to choose a number. In this case, it's the number of days that I want to search within for the job that I'm looking for. So we'll choose 3 days. After that is a checkbox. On this particular checkbox, I have set up a handler to automatically get the local area using the built-in GPS. For this example, since it's on the emulator, it automatically thinks that I'm in California. So I'll click the search button. It's going to come back with a list of results. What just happened after I clicked that button is it went out with an AJAX request and asked the Indeed API for a list of jobs based on clerical in California. This control right here that contains the list of results is a list control. A list control accepts an array of items. In this case, it's the job results. If I click on one of the list items, it'll take me to my next scene. This is the job detail scene. You can see that it displays the job title, the company, and the location of the job, and also a brief summary of the job information. At the bottom of the scene, you can see that there's a set of buttons. This is called a command menu. There can be from 1 to 5 buttons. This first button will open up a web browser that will go to Indeed and show the detail of the job. You will notice that when I minimize this application, you can see how the card system works. I have 2 cards here, or applications. I can switch to back and forth to each one by clicking on it. The next button down here in our command set is the map. This loads up a Google map of the location of the job. The next one is to open up an email where I could send this job information to a friend. And the last button is for me to save this job as a favorite. You notice this message down here, jobs saved to favorites. So let me go back to the main scene. And now you can see that it shows my favorite job that I saved and the recent search that I did. This is using a depot or a database for the Mojo SDK. You can also use SQLite and a regular HTML5 database. As it stands now, the depot is actually a wrapper for the HTML5 database. For more information, you can go to the following websites. The first one is developer.palm.com. This is where you can download the SDK, and you can also ask questions in the forum. There's also usability guidelines and the API reference for the Mojo SDK. Next one is the forums on PreCentral.net. It's a great place, especially if you're in the homebrew scene, of adding your app and also asking questions, as in developer.palm.com. The last one is for our website, which is www.webfusion5.com. It has more information about the job or application. I hope you've enjoyed this brief introduction into WebOS application development. Thank you.